Ayo, what is it? Haven't you done enough? Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone's doing okay and everyone is doing well. As you know, another day, another Love Island review. Today's episode was alright. If I'm gonna be honest with you, it was alright. I was definitely smiling at Mimii and Josh's date. Maybe I was on that date with them. I don't know. But even with the new edition of Lolade as a bombshell at the end, I don't know. I don't know, the vibes is very interesting, but we're going to get into it. So, as I usually and always say, number one, if you haven't yet subscribed, be sure to subscribe and definitely join the family. We're on the road to 29k and then on the road to 30 shortly. So, be sure to subscribe if you aren't already. And also be sure to follow me on my Instagram and also my Twitter at SerenDestinyX. And number three, as I usually and always say, please get cozy with a lovely drink. Today I love the fact that I keep telling you guys what I drink every day. But today I'm drinking orange juice with bits because that is the best orange juice to have. And if you think orange juice with bits is childish, then I don't know what to tell you because it tastes great. It's like a drink and a snack all in one. Anyway, I'm speaking way too much. Let's get into today's review. So let's start off with Nicole and the girls obviously crying about the prize on her way back home. It's very interesting, you know, they're obviously in the show, but we're also watching it. And don't get me wrong, I do know that Jess was an OG. And if we're going to be very honest, there aren't that many OGs who are left in the villa. The villa has low-key been taken over by bombshells. So I think the only OGs left are Mimii, Nicole, Kieran and Ayode, and Joey. Wait, did Joey come in as a bombshell? Was he a main character? I don't remember, but either or, there aren't actually that many. Oh, and Sean, I guess. Anyway, either or, there aren't that many people who are in the villa who are the OG. So I feel like maybe they were crying because of that, because what they were crying over, the person who they were crying over, and who've been watching for the past 4 to 5 weeks, I don't know if it's the same show. Okay, I really don't. Now let's move on to Jess S speaking to Ayode about being grateful at the fact that they're still there. I was saying, to be honest, he's expected it with everything that's been going on in the past couple of weeks and everything like that. I do wonder, does Ayode now understand and deep that the only reason why he was a secure couple, never in the lowest votes or lowest this or lowest that, is because he was with Mimii? I'm not really sure, but they were having a conversation. I don't really have much to discuss. I'm going to get into them later because, guys, I fear Ayode has lost the spark with Jess. I won't lie to you. I fear he's lost the spark, but we'll get into it shortly anyway. But in all honesty, I don't even see Ayode and Jessica S, or Jess S, sorry, working on the outside, I'll be honest with you. But I'm going to get into that later because, guys, I actually fear, the spark is gone. I actually fear the spark is gone. Now, of course, the girls are now speaking to Jess, saying that they're very happy for her, that the fact that she's still here. Jess was saying as well, like, to be honest, if I was the public, and I'm not surprised at the vote really, if I was the public, I feel like it would go the same way. So I'm glad that she's woke. Okay, I'm glad that she's very much awake, and she probably definitely sees that the situation with her, Ayode and Mimii just wasn't sitting right with the public, and that's definitely why she was in the, or that's definitely why she received votes as being the least favorite person or the least favorite couple when it comes to her as an individual, and also with Ayode as well. Now, let's move on to the boys talking. So Ayode was saying that Mimii was upset because man was standing there or whatever. And Joey was saying, and I just want to, before I get into it, I just want to say, like, can these islanders not try and encourage Ayode to think that his delulus are going to become trululu? Like, let's not do that. So Joey was just like, oh, like, at the end of the day, honestly, bro, let me tell you, yeah, honestly, if you went, Mimii would have been gutted. I'm just letting you know that now. And I was just like, yeah, like, obviously, man still got feelings for her, yeah? Man still got feelings. Sorry, but obviously, man still got feelings, and obviously, feelings just don't go away and everything. But right now, my focus is on Jess. And I just thought, is it? Yesterday, you were definitely letting everyone know, or all the guys, shall I say anyway, that, you know, I still miss her. Oh, obviously, I can't have both of them. I wish I... So, Ayode, what is it? Let's make that clear. What exactly is it? And also another thing, I know you guys commented on majority of you commented on my video yesterday because I asked you guys, do you think Ayode and Mimii are going to get back together? Personally, I don't think it is. And some of you commented you think they are, some of you commented you think they won't. But some people keep comparing Dami and India to Ayode and Mimii. And guys, I'm here to tell you it's not the same. Okay? I'm here to tell you it's not the same. Till now, I still don't know how Ayode feels about Mimii. Till now, and even if he was clear, I don't even want that for our good sis Mimii because Josh is in the villa. But we're going to get into him shortly anyway, period. Now, at night time, Nicole asked Mimii about Ayode and pretty much asked if feelings are still there, and Mimii didn't respond, and Nicole was like, okay, I'm going to take that as no comment. And also Kieran was telling Nicole in bed that he feels like he likes her more than she likes him. To be honest, based on the Mimii situation, I'm going to get into that the following morning when we unpick that, because I feel like her answer to that Not saying that she didn't give an answer because she cares about him, but I'll get into that shortly anyway, Sha. But also with the Nicole and Kieran situ, I'm honestly thinking, I think it's best for men to like women more. I feel like successful relationships work that way. In my personal opinion, I don't know why, but let me not say that. Maybe it's just me. I feel like relationships work best when the man is more interested in the woman or when he likes her more, in my personal opinion. But that's just me. Now let's move on to the following morning. So Josh said to Ruben that him and Mimii are on another level, and last night was and I said, I know this, like, guys, it's so nice to see Mimii happy. That's what I'm trying to say. This girl has suffered for the past couple of weeks because of this Ayode guy. Ayode. And someone has finally come to take her mind off of this guy. Like, I'm actually so happy for her. And I bet Mimii and Josh are going to make it to the finals, guys. Honestly, the Facebook mums love them. And once the Facebook mums love you, your spot in the finals is secure. Okay, it is definitely secure. Now Ruben made Grace a coffee with extra honey. I'm very glad that Ruben is feeding into Grace and Grace is feeding into Ruru, because honestly speaking, I didn't even want to see Grace try and see if she can graft for Josh, and everything that I also said in yesterday's review still stands, i.e. that I feel like Josh only said what he said in the speech because he was worried that Mimii potentially could go back to Ayode and he didn't want to be mugged off. But I definitely don't see the Josh and Grace situation developing, and I definitely feel like with Uma no longer in the villa, Grace and Ruben, they should just make that happen and just make that fetch in whatever way that seems for them. Now, of course, you know, I was now speaking to Jess about being happy to be there. Now, this is what I said when I say that I feel like Ayode has lost his spark, because, you know, for me, Jess S gives very much like forward when it comes to Ayode. She's like, oh my gosh, like, am I your bestie? Why don't you just tell me that you love me? So she was really trying to get something out of him. And you know, Ayode, all he knows is say swear. My girl is telling you how much she really likes you and you're my best friend and you're my this and all that. And you're like, say swear. Because that's all Ayode says, guys. Genuinely speaking, listen to Ayode speak in these episodes and you'll realize that he actually doesn't say much. But honestly, I feel like she's forcing something that Ayode isn't ready for. And that's because Ayode wants to have his cake and eat it too. And if he can merge Jess and Mimii into the same person, he would. But genuinely speaking, I feel like the spark has gone, and I fear that they're not going to make it long term on the outside. I definitely fear that. Well, it's not really fair, to be honest. I'm saying it. They're not going to work for long on the outside, in my personal opinion. But like I said, if you agree, disagree, let me know down in the comments. Now, let's move on to Nicole and Mimii. She said that obviously she would have been sad if Ayode left. And at the same time, Josh was speaking to Jessie about trying to cheer Mimii up and make her breakfast, because obviously she's lost so many people in the past couple of days. And I said, man, okay? Because one thing, Ayode would never, guys. You can't tell me that Ayode, as far as I'm concerned, he doesn't give the thoughtful vibes for Mimii in the villa. All it is stress. Ayode, what is it? Haven't you done enough? Haven't you done enough? Okay? So one thing I will say is, number one, I feel like Mimii wasn't necessarily upset that Ayode would be leaving because she has feelings for him. I feel like obviously because the OGs, at the end of the day, the OGs have a special connection. She probably would have just been upset because another OG who she possibly started the journey with could have potentially been dumped. So I didn't see that developing at all anywhere. But Josh being a man, chef's kiss, we're here for it. Now, of course, Ruben and Grace were having a conversation speaking about their attraction and wanting to get to know each other a lot more. Not much to discuss there other than the fact that I'm glad that Ruben is there to distract Grace from whatever nonsense she thought she was trying to do with Josh. Okay? Now, let's move on to Ayode speaking to Mimii in the kitchen. Now, many of you do I feel like you misinterpret Mimii's friendliness and bubbliness as wanting to get back with Ayode. I think she's healed so much and she's so over the situation that she laughs because she actually just finds it funny and she just completely over it. Anyway, they were having a conversation and she was saying, obviously she was praying in her head that they wouldn't say his name, and then he was like, oh, but it would have been easier if I left, no? And then she was just like, well, at the end of the day, like, it is what it is, like, you know, I'm glad that we can be cool in this villa. Then they did make a quick, like a slight joke about how it's almost like living with your ex and his new girl, and I was like, oh, don't say that. Mimii, I love the fact she was just like, don't burn your eggs, yeah? So I love the fact that she's taken a very friendly approach to this entire situation, and I definitely do have to thank Josh for that, because I feel like we've seen the personality that all the other ex-Islanders have been saying Mimii has. We've finally been able to see it now that she's been out of the whole Ayode situation. And then, like I said in one of my other reviews as well, when you're with a guy who drains you, he drains your energy and it also drains your spark. So I'm very glad that Josh is there to almost give us the Mimii that we've always wanted to see for the past couple of weeks. But the truth is that she's not interested in that guy anymore, guys. I think it's called growth and I think it's called development, and I'm glad that she's over that entire ordeal. I know Ayode still likes her, but Wallet. Now, Kieran, of course, was in the kitchen as well, speaking to Ayode, and then at the same time, Jess came over. Jess came over because, you know, Ayode was clearly making her breakfast. Jess now came over, and if you saw the way Ayode if you saw the way Ayode just flung the plate over to her. I think someone on Twitter said that he literally flung the plate like he was feeding a dog. Not in a rude way as if like Jess had been a dog, but just how careless it was. And like I said, it just lets me know that I feel like the spark is completely gone, I'll be honest with you. And then Jess was like, oh my gosh, are you not going to come down and sit with me? So once again, what I said before still stands, is that I feel like in regards to the whole Ayode and Jess dynamic, Jess is definitely putting it on, and I feel like Ayode is low-key starting to backtrack and lay off because he definitely still has feelings for Mimii, and he should keep those feelings because they ain't going nowhere. Okay, it's not going anywhere. Now let's move on to Joey now speaking to Josh and Konnor, and he said that to Josh, you know, I'm really getting really good vibes from you and Mimii, and it's very interesting because you're getting good vibes from him and Mimii, but when you're speaking to Ayode, you're trying to plant seeds in his head to make Ayode think that there's even a possibility that he can still be with Mimii at any given opportunity, which isn't going to happen. But obviously, at the same time, we know that Josh decided to make he decided to make some waffles and breakfast for Mimii on the terrace. And then he asked Ruben, like, at the end of the day, I want to make this for her, but she's sitting right opposite me, so I need you to try and get the girls to distract her, blah, blah, blah. So one thing I did say, and I said this in one of my other reviews, that I really love the bromance that Josh and Ruben bring to the villa. I feel like it's a bromance that we haven't seen since the series started, and I love the fact that they definitely have each other's back and work together as a really good team. Matilda, big up Matilda, I won't lie, she definitely came and done her job. She was like, girls, like, do you guys want to move? Like, it's really hot here, but obviously in the sunbed area, like, honestly, it's so cool. And they were just like, okay, yeah, cool, like, let's go. So they ended up going, and then even as they were sitting, they're just like, oh yeah, like, you're right, it's so much colder here. Obviously, because of that, Josh was able to pretty much set up the date on the terrace without Mimii actually seeing it. Ruben now comes over and he's just like, Mimii, you know, I'm here to take you to your brunch, da, 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 da. And then she's just like, oh my gosh, like, what's happening? So she goes upstairs to the terrace, and guys, what one man will not do, another will. Honestly, this is why I genuinely, I can never stress out over a guy. If a guy doesn't do what you want, leave him, because another guy actually will. Like, another guy actually will do it effortlessly as well. You won't have to cry, you won't have to beg, you won't have to show who you are. He'll just do it because he just genuinely wants to see you happy. So of course she goes upstairs and she said something though, and I was just like, oh yeah, she said, I'm not used to it. And I know Mimii obviously isn't used to it because of she's been dealing with Ayode, but you never say that to a man. Okay, you never say that to him. I don't care how much I like a guy and how much he's showing how much he likes me. I'm never telling a guy I'm never used to the princess treatment that he gives me. I'm sorry, because you know one thing about guys, they will actually show you shaggy. They will give you the treatment that you're used to if you're not careful. If you're not careful, but that's not Mimi's prayer. That's not Mimi's prayer. I'm just saying in general. But obviously, it was really cute. I won't lie. I do feel like Josh is very intentional when it comes to Mimii, and he was just like, you know, she was just like, oh my gosh, like my mum would really like this, and then well, my mum really like you, and then he was like, yeah, my mum really like you too. And I don't know, guys, the way I was smiling, maybe I was on that date. Guys, I don't think, can't you see the tan? I literally just came back from Spain because I was on that date with them. Okay, I was definitely on that date with them. The way I was smiling at my screen, and I think a lot of people are just so happy because Mimii actually deserves this, and she's been dealing with Ayode for the past couple of weeks, who hasn't given a damn thing. Okay, now let's move on to so Sean was now speaking to Ayode and Kieran about seeing Mimii smiling in the kitchen when Ayode was with her and everything like that. And then you know, Ayode was just like, you know, obviously like it's going to be hard and everything, but once again, it just goes back to what I said before in terms of I don't want the Islanders to feed into Ayode's delusions that there's a possibility there, because there actually isn't. But also at the same time, Kieran was telling the guys that he feels like the situation with Nicole is really one-sided and that he overthinks a lot. And if anything, it just proved to me how much they actually suit and deserve each other, because Nicole is literally the queen of overthinking. So Sean, if you're also, not Sean, sorry, Kieran, if you're also the king of overthinking, then this is literally a match made in heaven, if I'm going to be honest with you. Now let's move on to Jessie and Joey talking. I don't really have much to say other than the fact that, you know, Jessie definitely lost brownie points when she was like to Grace, I feel like I'm on your side here, and George. I won't lie, but I do think her and Joey, I think they're okay together. I don't have anything great to say. I don't have anything bad to say. I think, yeah, I think they're okay. So not much to discuss there. Now, of course, you know, Kieran now went to go and speak to Josh about everything that he's doing. And Josh was obviously like, you know what, I'm doing this because I want to see her happy. You know, I want to see her smile. I'm doing this from the heart. I'm not doing this for any other reason. And I definitely think Josh really likes it. And it just goes back to what I said, that I feel like he just chose Grace or mentioned Grace, sorry, in the speech, because he just wanted to cover his bases in case Mimii was to go back to Ayode. But I really like Josh and Mimii together. together, and I feel like, yeah, if both of them stick it out together, there's no reason why they shouldn't make it to the finals. Now, you guys know they end up getting a text that tonight it was going to be a party. And I went like, I feel like the Islanders have a party every single night. So when they get so excited over these, over the text that they're having a party, I actually find it really cute. But of course, whilst the party is going on, they get another text that Lolly is at the hideaway waiting to date 3 boys. Lolly, aka Lolade, which I think I want to call her that because Lolade is a really nice name. And you guys know, I Nigerianize everything. Okay. So Joey was the first to be picked. I won't lie, absolute plot twist. Joey definitely made me laugh because you guys know in the kissing challenge, Jessie had a big issue with Joey basically bigging up everyone else's kisses. So for Joey to literally shout in her face, stand there and shout and say, Lolly baby! I just thought this guy is so, why is Joey S11 serious? I don't understand. Anyway, we got to meet Lolade, aka Lauren. So her real name is Lauren, but she's known as Lolly for short. She is from Leicestershire. I tried to get her age. I couldn't get her age. Love Island didn't show her age. None of the news articles were saying her age. But, you know, if you watch the episode, you know she looks older. I don't know her age, but she's an air hostess, but she works for long haul, pretty much long haul flights. And she said that she doesn't think, Joe was obviously speaking and she was like, oh, she doesn't feel like his relationship with Jessie is, you know, anything to write home about, basically. Like she feels like he's been in his show as he's been with her and everything like that. And then she said, you know, she's looking for love, she's looking for a husband. And, you know, everyone's journey is very different and stuff like that. But, you know, maybe she could find love on Love Island. You know, some couples have made it, but I just feel like, if I'll be honest with you, her coming into the villa was very random, and based off the 3 dates, I'm going to get into the other 2 later, the dates were all given dry. So I don't think I feel like her positioning in the villa isn't given the wow factor that the producers probably thought it would, if that makes sense. So of course, Jessie at the same time, whilst the date was going on, was speaking to Grace about not being able to complain because obviously like I've done the same thing to you. And it just made me wonder, guys, what goes around honestly comes around. Like, regardless, don't ever think you're going to escape your karma. Okay? Whatever goes around is actually going to come around. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, it may not be next week, but it's gonna come. So obviously I found that quite funny because obviously she was just like, obviously I can't really speak because I've done the same thing to you. Yeah, you did. You can't. And Grace as well can't really speak as well because she's done the same thing to Samantha. It's just a rolling effect. Dominoes, dominoes, dominoes effect. But of course they now go for a chat and Jessie was saying obviously like, you know, doesn't really feel great at the fact that she's that Lolly is in the hideaway with Joey, having a date with her, and you know, she feels uneasy about it. Now Joey now came out of the villa and he announced that the next date was for Konnor. Now before going into the date with Konnor, I won't lie, when Joey came out, his first point of contact was going to speak to the guys, and it was just funny because Jessie was just like, is he not gonna come here? Joey! And you know, like, I don't know if you guys remember, but you know, like secondary school or whatever, when your teachers used to always like, Sarah, kids, like just every day, so I won't lie, I was definitely laughing because it was definitely just giving like, excuse me, like, what are you doing? But Joey was just like, what? Like, I'm coming over. But whilst Joey was speaking to the guys, he did let them know, like, you know, yeah, she seems cool and everything like that. You know, she's blonde and whatever, but he has a really good thing going on with Jessie. Now, back to the date. Konnor pretty much said, you know, he's looking for a friend, and Konnor seems really sweet, but I don't know what he's still doing in that villa because we actually don't see him. One of you commented that you think his brother is a producer, okay, who is keeping him, oh gosh, I'm just sinking into my chair, but who is keeping him in the villa because we don't see Konnor enough for him to be able to be honest. You know what the thing is? There are other people in line to be evicted from that villa. And because those other people are still there, that's why Konnor has been, yeah, he's been saving his little show over there. But of course, he was saying that, you know, he's looking for a friend. And she was like, oh my gosh, like, you're literally saying everything. You're saying everything. Like, oh my God, we're literally like the same person. Literally, you're saying everything. I was just thinking, girl, please. Okay? But anyway, Lolade was wearing a 11/11 necklace, and then Konnor was like, oh my God, like, that's my birthday. Yeah, 11th of the 11th. She was like, oh my gosh, what a coincidence. So I'll be honest with you in saying that I think that if anything, Lolade and Konnor should try and make that work, because I don't think any of the other guys or any of the other girls as well will be threatened by Lolade entering the villa or taking their men. Literally, all those guys' men are very much secure. So yeah, I think her and Konnor should try and hit that off. And if they do hit it off, I also don't see them staying long in the villa, because we don't really get to see much of Konnor. And Lolade, she alright, you know, she cool, but I don't know, the dates seemed a bit boring, I'm going to be honest with you. They seemed a bit, you know, Jacob crackers and no butter. Anyway, cool. The last date was with Kieran, and I won't lie, the second Konnor came back and said, oh, Kieran, I knew Nicole was going to make it, she was just like, why she pick Kieran for? Why wouldn't she pick Kieran? First and foremost, I don't think she picked Kieran because she wanted to even get to know him like that. But also, like, Nicole, it's okay. And she was just like, I'm not worried about Kieran. I'm worried about her. She don't have any loyalties to me. Yeah, she doesn't have any loyalties to you. But I promise you, no one is chasing Kieran because no one wants a storyline with Nicole just shouting and crying and moaning. And all, no one wants that storyline. Anyway, Kieran goes for the date. And I won't lie, Kieran made it very clear the second you got there. Like, obviously, I just want to let you know that I'm really cool with Nicole. But obviously, there's so many guys out there. And I think we'll definitely be able to find you someone in the villa. I was just thinking, I already knew that Kieran was going to be closed off, but breathe. Okay, boy, breathe. Anyway, she did say that, you know, for a 21-year-old, she does feel like he holds himself really well, and that, you know, she does think that him and Nicole are really good together. And I do have to agree. I have already told you this anyway, but I do feel like even though Kieran is 21 and majority of people like to say, oh, you're immature, he's actually been one of the most mature guys in the villa since the season started. So good on her for letting Kieran know that. And I think Kieran was also very chuffed to hear that, if I'll be honest with you. Anyway, back at the villa, Jessie was now speaking to Joey about the date and everything. And Joey was like, yeah, obviously she's a nice girl, but I'll be honest with you, like, I couldn't help but tell her about you as a person. And then he also mentioned the fact that Lolade was like, oh, yeah, she did mention though that at the end of the day, like, obviously with you, I've kind of been in my show. And then Jess was just like, oh. Proper rolling her eyes and everything. And I guess Jessie is triggered, but honestly, I don't think anyone is coming in for Joey Essex, babe, I'll be honest with you. So I think, in all honesty, Lolade and Konnor, maybe they can hit it off, but as a bombshell, she didn't give me the wow factor. And that's not in terms of like looks or anything. Maybe it's just like aura and personality and stuff. I can't explain it, but she seems quite mellow. And yeah, so maybe her and Konnor will actually be quite a good fit because Konnor definitely gives me mellow vibes as well. But yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like she was the threat that the villain needed right now, if I'm going to be honest with you. But let me know down below, guys. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What's your vibes on Lolade? How do you feel about Mimii and Josh? I like them so much. I'm just so happy that Mimi's happy. But yeah, let me know down below how you found today's episode. Yeah, it was an okay episode. I don't think it was wow, but it wasn't, you know, so it was just... I'll rate it a 6 out of 10. Yeah, I think I'll give it a 6 out of 10. But yeah, let me know down below how you also found today's episode. As always, if you haven't yet subscribed, be sure to subscribe and definitely join the family. And also be sure to follow me on my Instagram and also on my Twitter at SoDestinyX. But other than that, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Please do take care, stay blessed, and I shall see you tomorrow. Bye.